and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Tuesday, 4 March. I'm your host Daniel, and today we'll be covering Trump has ordered a pause to all US military aid to Ukraine. Taiwan says it's impossible for the US to abandon the Indo-Pacific, and Trump has confirmed Canadian and Mexico tariffs. So firstly, US President Donald Trump has ordered a temporary suspension of US military aid to Ukraine, citing the need to review the country's contribution in order to resolve the war with Russia. This decision followed a clash between Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House, where Zelensky demanded security guarantees as part of any ceasefire with Russia. The disagreement led to the Ukrainian delegation being asked to leave, and a planned deal for US access to Ukraine rare earth minerals was not signed. European leaders have since reiterated their support for Ukraine and convened a summit to discuss boosting European defense capabilities. Trump has criticized Zelensky for suggesting that the end of the war was still very far away, accusing him of not wanting peace and calling him a dictator. Trump also suggested that Zelensky won't be around for very long if he does not agree to a ceasefire with Moscow. Multiple US officials have called for Zelensky's resignation. Despite these tensions, Zelensky remains a significant figure. So what? This is unfortunately not a surprising move from Trump, who generally does not take political disagreement very well. Though it is possible that the weapons shipments may return in a limited capacity, it seems likely that they will not return to pre-Trump levels unless Zelensky bends the knee and accepts Trump's terms. However, it seems highly unlikely that Ukraine will bend to US pressure without security guarantees, something the US is not willing to give them, making any agreement highly unlikely. Additionally, it is also unlikely that Europe can provide Ukraine with the sufficient equipment and ammunition levels to effectively defend against the Russian advances, making the outlook for the conflict quite bleak. And next, Taiwan's Defense Minister, Wellington Koo, emphasized that the United States will not abandon the Asia-Pacific region, which is a core national interest to the US. This statement comes amid concerns in Taiwan following the public dispute between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, raising doubts about the US security commitments to its allies. Koo highlighted the importance of maintaining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region, including the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea, and expressed confidence that the US would not retreat from these areas. In response to the rapidly changing situation and escalating threats, Taiwan plans to increase its military spending, although specific figures have not been provided. Additionally, the Taiwanese government will support TSMC, or the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, to expand its interests in the US while retaining its most advanced technology domestically. Despite Trump's criticism of Taiwan's dominance in the semiconductor industry and his suggestion to increase defense spending in Taiwan, the US remains Taiwan's most critical security ally against the threat of Chinese invasion. So what? Of course, they're going to publicly say this, but it seems likely that they will also, in private, be reassessing their defense strategy. One thing that is currently keeping the US around is Taiwan's advanced chip manufacturing capabilities. If the US does develop similar levels of technology during Trump's tenure, then it seems likely he would lose support for the country. Sadly, this is just the way of the current US administration. They don't seem to be caring too much about soft power and only support projects that have direct monetary return. It is also possible that Japan and South Korea will also be having similar internal discussions around US security guarantees and support as the US continues to shake up the current world order. And lastly, US President Donald Trump has announced on Monday that the US would implement the previous delayed 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, which will be effective from 0500 Tuesday. Trump had initially delayed the tariffs for 30 days, but decided not to extend the delay any further. Energy resources from Canada will face lower 10% levies under the new tariff regime. Trump's decision has led to a sharp decline in US stock market shares and raised fears of a trade war among North America's deeply integrated economies. Additionally, Trump plans to impose a 25% tariff on goods from the European Union and has already increased tariffs against Chinese products. In response, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau vowed to impose retaliatory tariffs on the $155 billion worth of American goods if the US tariffs took effect. The Canadian Foreign Minister highlighted the unpredictability of Trump's administration and stated that Canada was preparing to respond with a broader plan to be presented to the US. The escalating trade tensions come amid Trump's demands for enhanced border security and efforts to combat the distribution of illicit drugs, including fentanyl. So what? This plan will almost certainly disproportionately hurt the regular citizens of the countries involved, with price increases almost certain to be a result. It is also unclear what the US administration hopes to achieve with these tariffs. They seem likely as a plan to punish Canada and Mexico for not protecting the US border enough. And if the plan is punishment, Mexico I can kind of understand. But angering Canada and destroying that relationship seems to be a strange calculation. This, along with numerous other moves around the globe, make it highly likely that the US is going to lose the soft power it has gained from 80 years of supremacy. Is this a good move? My assessment would be no, but I guess we have to wait and see. Thank you for tuning in to the Intel Brief, your daily update on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. You can support the show by sharing with your friends and leaving us a 5-star review. And if you're curious to learn more about intelligence, check out one of our courses in the description below. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.